American dream. To his last breath, he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense with Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry.
The National Defense is made possible by Ford, Go Further, by the Home Depot, More Saving, More Doing, by VSP. For more information on how VSP can help you and your corrective vision needs, visit VSP.com. By Morgan Stanley. Discover how they can help you achieve your long-term financial goals at morganstanley.com. By the Wounded Warrior Project, serving those who've sacrificed for over 15 years. Online at woundedwarriorproject.org. By WD-40 Company. Wherever there's a job to be done, WD-40 brand offers solutions to help you live life hands-on. By Farmers Insurance. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com. And by Gorilla Glue, makers of Gorilla Tape for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, Jerry Newberry. And Jerry, as always, our dedication.
Hey, this show's for you, the men and women serving in our military. It's for the millions of veterans out there, and it's for all their families. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you.
Great hearing from Wounded Warrior Project on a regular basis now.
Yeah.
Find out what they're doing, what kind of great good they're doing for veterans. And they do so much. 15 years. 15 years
I was going to say, they've been doing it a long time now.
Oh, we get the head cheese now. Mike Linnington, CEO.
Lock in my heels.
Yep. Wounded Warrior Project. Mike, how are you?
I am great, Randy and Jerry. Thank you, and thanks for having us on today.
No, it's great to talk to you. And, you know, they got the right guy, I think, here. I mean, 35
yes.
years of military service. Yep. And
West Point grad. And
Screamin Eagle.
Screamin Eagle.
Screamin Eagle.
Yep. Screamin Eagle. So when you were at West Point and you were a plebe, did you walk around with your hands cupped together?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I went to a military high school. I went to Valley Forge Military Academy, so I've been wearing a uniform since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So when I left the military after 35 years of uniform service, for me, Wounded Warrior Project and the opportunity to be around veterans was really a natural transition for me. So I'm very blessed to be here with an organization that's made such a profound impact on wounded veterans and their families since 2003.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Wounded Warrior Project, I mean, you have to be living somewhere in a dark basement not to know about what you're all about. And, you know, my affiliation with the Wounded Warrior Project goes back when I was working with the VFW, National Headquarters. So, and you guys have formed a great relationship with other VSOs, and you're so multifaceted. Why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Well, we cover the bases in every aspect. And when you look at the fact that we meet veterans where they are in their transition, help connect them with fellow veterans in their communities, and then help them heal, be they physical wounds of war or the invisible wounds of war, which we all know are equally profound and sometimes more debilitating. And then we take them through that process, get them the benefits counseling, job placement, and we're really, really honored to do what we do, and we're just privileged to do it, and we thank the American people that have helped us do it, because we certainly couldn't do it without them.
Well, and you also put your money where your mouth is, too. That's one thing I appreciate about Wounded Warrior Project, especially recently. There are a lot of groups, Jerry, and you know this too, that have said, we got to help veterans' mental health. We got to do it. We got to join with someone. Well, Wounded Warrior Project just announced a $160 million commitment to veterans' mental health. Mike, that's incredible. What are you going to do with this money?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, for us, really, it is an extenuation of a program that's been in place already for the last 3 years, which was a $100 million commitment by Wounded Warrior Project and our Warrior Care Network partners at Emory University, the home-based program up in Massachusetts General, Operation Mend at UCLA, and the Road Home program at Rush University. The $160 million program we just announced is to continue to provide world-class individualized mental health care for veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan that have come home with what we know are two of the most commonly experienced wounds of the last 17 years, which is post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. So this announcement last week will significantly increase access to care and quality of care, which we know are two of the biggest challenges for warriors getting the help they need after they've returned home.
You know, there's been some tremendous strides in the last several years, especially when it comes to traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress, of course. That's been an ongoing problem in all wars, and the government has responded. However, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit. You know, you all are doing tremendous work, and that's $160 million. That's a big commitment. But quite frankly, I wonder what would happen if it wasn't for an organization like the Wounded Warriors Project. I mean, would the government really come through with the kind of money needed to treat that?
Yeah, the government's investment through the VA is much greater than what we're doing. And what we just fill in the gaps where veterans, for whatever reason, aren't getting the care they need, or are in areas where geographically it's difficult to get to, or for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just stigma.
I was going to ask: is it because you're not a government agency? That
I think there's probably a little bit of that. And I will tell you what we do differently in the program that we administer. And by the way, we get a lot of support from the VA in the program we do at the Warrior Care Network. We do this program in groups. This program is a cohort-based model where warriors come together in groups of 12 or so at the 4 world-class academic medical centers, and they get individual care, they get group therapy, it's all anchored in evidence-based approaches, but they get rehabilitative medicine, wellness, nutrition, mindfulness, yoga, Tai Chi.
Yeah.
I mean, they do PT in the morning, they have activities in the evening and in the weekends, and their families are involved as well.
That's what I want to ask you. Yeah. That Warrior Care Network, and we've talked to some people that kind of spearheaded that before, Mike. And the thing that's impressive about it also is that it does include the families and the caregivers, and it includes all of those things you were talking about. It's not limited to 1 or 2 standard practices, because what's right for one person may be wrong for the other person.
It involves out-of-the-box thinking.
Yeah,
It's not formula stuff.
It really is. Yeah. It's the most innovative approach to treating PTSD, TBI, includes families. It's holistic. We have more than 4,000 family members have gone through with their veteran. And, oh, by the way, the young vets that go through this program have greater than 90% completion rate.
Wow.
And government-provided programs have much, much, much less than that.
Right.
And then the reduction in symptoms of post-traumatic stress, severe anxiety, depression have gone from severe levels on entry to minimal levels after completing the 2 or 3 week program. And then those gains are maintained for months afterwards as we continue to track them back into their communities, into follow-on care provided by other community-based organizations and our government. So this is a really big deal. The VA has recognized it as a wonderful example of a public-private partnership. We have full-time VA staff now, a staff member from the VA at each of the 4 academic medical centers, so that when the veteran and the family completes the program, they then go back to their communities and the VA is tracking them in aftercare. And then they obviously leverage other programs provided by Wounded Warrior Project to help in their continued recovery.
Yeah, we're talking to Mike Linnington, the CEO of Wounded Warrior Project here in the National Defense. And Mike, Veterans Day, of course, coming up. Where are you going to be, and what does it mean to you?
Veterans Day for me means everything. Our country was built on the back of the freedoms protected by our veterans. I will be in New York City walking down Fifth Avenue with 1,000 warriors and family members.
Oh, that's cool.
And we have veterans events all over the country in all of the 25 locations where we have physical presence of employees, WW Wounded Warrior Project teammates, and we're hosting events in dozens of cities around the country, including here in Jacksonville. But I will be in New York flying. I have events here in Jacksonville on the 10th. I'm flying to New York on the early morning flight on the 11th, and I'm hoping for good weather, warm weather in New York in November.
So it's a little bit chilly, a little bit windy.
We are too. We're actually pretty excited. We're going to be doing a show and broadcasting from Washington, D.C. at the request of the American Red Cross, and we're going to be there at their campus.
Beautiful. A beautiful location. We just did the VA just hosted Wounded Warrior and a bunch of our veteran service organizations there just a couple weeks ago. That's a beautiful venue.
Hey, so Mike, what's the best way for people to find out about the Warrior Care Network?
I would ask them to visit our website at woundedwarriorproject.org, or you can just go on the web and type in Warrior Care Network, Wounded Warrior Project. You'll go straight to the website. Warriors can also just call our resource center. That phone number is 1-888-WWP alum, ALUM, during business hours 9 to 9. They'll be able to register veterans as alumni if you qualify, and can very quickly refer you to the Warrior Care Network. And again, those 4 sites where the treatment is taking place today, and in fact, it's a great program. It's amazingly impactful, and is treating hundreds of warriors with tremendous outcomes.
Wow. And 4,000 family members so far.
Wow. We should try and get down to the headquarters.
Yes, absolutely. Like in the middle of
winter. Anytime you guys want, you're invited.
In the middle of winter.
January, February.
That's right.
Yeah, we'd love to. Seriously.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much for your time, man. We first of all, thank you for your service, and thank you for what you're doing for Wounded Warriors. Just great stuff.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for having us on your show.
We'll be right back on the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
This week, only at the Home Depot, select 7.5-foot pre-lit artificial Christmas trees are just $99. The Home Depot has a stunning selection. Choose one that's easy to set up, one that shines with white or multicolored lights, one that leaves enough money in your budget to put gifts under that tree. Select 7.5-foot artificial Christmas trees, just $99. This is how we owe Christmas tree. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Throughout through November 7th, limit 3 per customer. See store for details.
This portion of the National Defense is brought to you by Gorilla Glue, the makers of Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape has a tough, reinforced backing and is made with double-thick adhesive that grips to smooth, rough, and uneven surfaces. With a weather-resistant shell, Gorilla Tape can be used both indoors and out, which is perfect for applications in the field, including duck blinds, tree stands, and tent repairs. Gorilla Tape and Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
We're standing guard with the truth. The National Defense.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller. Time now for another Morgan Stanley Money Brief. And we've got Matt Riley, Executive Director from Morgan Stanley's Cyber Team, here with us for our multi-series conversation about some really important stuff, personal data protection. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, so last week we discussed the concept of authentication as relates to proving our identities and the best practices for passwords. You provided some great tips for our listeners, so I'm curious what you've got for us this week.
Thanks, Randy. Hey, so this week I want to talk about phishing, and I'm not talking about the kind you do when you're out on vacation out on the lake. Phishing in the cyber world is by far the most common way for malicious people and organizations to gain unauthorized access to your data.
Yeah, this type of phishing sounds much more serious than my version of phishing. Can you start with tips to identify potential phishing attacks?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a few easy telltale signs that you may be the target of a phishing attack. Many phishing emails contain misspelled words or poor grammar, which you can often detect through a careful read. You should also check the address in the from field and sometimes even in the to field to make sure it matches the originating entity or recipient address. Fake addresses can be close as one letter off, so be sure to look closely and read for typos. In general, you should never click on an open attachment from someone you don't know or trust. Yeah. Kind of like when you're a kid at Halloween, you just don't accept candy from strangers.
Right, right. And I've heard that phishing attacks can fake an email address from a legitimate company or even direct you to a fake website that looks exactly or very similar to a real company site.
Randy, you're absolutely correct. That's why if you don't slow down and pay attention, you can easily be lured into the attack. Also, look out for emails that create a sense of urgency. Whether a plea for help or an opportunity to win money or enter a contest, these are often ploys to entice recipients into clicking on links. Be particularly aware of emails that ask you to do something right away.
Well, sometimes it's so hard not to want to click that link, especially if it's a limited time offer or if you're being told that you've won something.
That's exactly why phishing attacks can be so tempting. They're appealing to your emotion. So just remember, if you get an email about a deal or a special sale on an item that you really want, you have other options than clicking on the link in the email. Nearly all companies are going to advertise these same types of opportunities on their official website or on their social media platform. If you can't find the deal anywhere else or it is too good to pass up, there's probably a reason, and you definitely should not click that link.
Okay, so if I just don't ever click on links in unsolicited emails, am I safe?
You know, I wish it were that easy, but phishing can happen all over the place. Your phone is another common technique in which we see phishing techniques. If you receive a call from an unknown number, ask if you can call them back at their official number to verify their identity. This is especially important when it comes to credit card companies asking for account information or passwords. Anytime you're uncertain, you should initiate contact, whether online or by phone. Always remember, companies don't contact you out of the blue to verify your credentials, and never give out your password to anyone.
You know, you hear similar advice often, but it's surprising how easily people can gain access to our personal information. I'm hearing two key points here. Don't click on links and emails unless you know the sender, and don't give out personal information when a company calls you. Matt, this has been extremely helpful. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another Morgan Stanley Money Brief right here on the National Defense.
This radio program does not provide individually tailored advice. It has been prepared without regard to the individual financial circumstances, risk tolerance, and investment objectives of the persons who receive it. The strategies discussed may not be suitable for all individuals. Morgan Stanley recommends that individuals independently evaluate particular strategies and encourages them to seek the advice of a financial advisor. The appropriateness of a particular strategy will depend on individual circumstances and objectives. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. This portion of the National Defense is brought to you by Gorilla Glue, the makers of Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape has a tough, reinforced backing and is made with double-thick adhesive that grips to smooth, rough, and uneven surfaces. With a weather-resistant shell, Gorilla Tape can be used both indoors and out, which is perfect for applications in the field, including duck blinds, tree stands, and tent repairs. Gorilla Tape and Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
All right, it's Ford F-150 Radio. Today we're talking how Ford, the official truck of the NFL, once again has the awesome job of recognizing the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week. Marty, go.
Hi, Mierhawk in high school, the Purple Panthers, 1989.
Say what?
Now that was an offensive line. Me, Jimmy, Dwayne, Kiko, Melvin, Mount Everest.
This is the big time, buddy. And each week, Ford F-150 salutes the NFL O-line that outperforms all the others.
But they don't have the camaraderie us guys had.
Yeah, Built Ford Tough tough NFL offensive lines of the week have camaraderie, Marty. They're finely tuned machines, like the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
I remember the big game. State semis, our QB calls out naked potato mouthwash.
Okay, listen.
A lot of people think that was the night I earned my All-Tri-County honorable mention. A lot of people.
Oops, Marty must have gone through a tunnel. Go to NFL.com and follow NFL analyst and former Pro Bowl center Sean O'Hara as he picks the Built Ford Tough offensive line of the week.
Did you know WD-40 Company has a product to get the trusted WD-40 formula into hard-to-reach places? WD-40 Easy Reach has a permanently attached 8-inch flexible straw that makes it easy to keep equipment working properly by bending around parts and getting into tight spots to lubricate and prevent rust. Pick up a can at Walmart, Home Depot, or AutoZone and learn more about this and other WD-40 brand products at WD-40.com.
Welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and Country Music Hall of Famer Charlie Daniels is on with us. Charlie.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great now. I got Charlie Daniels on my phone. I mean, I'm so honored to talk to you. I cannot imagine, and especially for this program, I can't imagine a more patriotic American than Charlie Daniels.
Well, I thank you very much, and I am patriotic and have been all my life.
I mean, that's a fair statement, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, and are you 82 now? You know, I don't know, Charlie, if a lot of people who are turning 82 decide to go on a tour and release a new album.
Well, you know what? People ask me, are you going to retire? Retire for what? I thought just sit around the living room and play guitar. You know, might as well be getting paid for it.
Well, right, exactly. But I mean,
the truth of the matter is there's nothing I want to do besides what I do, and I love it. So I'm going to stay with it as long as it's the good Lord's will for me to do it.
Well, and, you know, you're still writing music. I mean, this new album, you wrote, I think, all the songs on it, right?
Yeah, I either co-wrote all the songs on it, definitely.
It's called The Boll Weevils.
Right, Boll Weevils.
Songs in the key of E.
It's probably the only album in existence that all the songs are in the same key.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah. I can't say for sure, but yeah, that's the only one I know of. The reason being, I started, let me give you a little background on this thing. James Stroud produced some of the most successful albums that we did, the most successful albums we did after we moved to Nashville.
I mean, produced the most of the successful albums in the history of America, I think.
He's done a lot of them. He's done slews of people. Anyway, he's also one of the best drummers in existence. And we had so much fun. Going to the studio with James and CDB was like going to the circus almost. I mean, it was just fun. It was practical jokes. It was laughing and carrying on and all kind of stuff going on. And we had so much fun. I mean, it was such a pleasant memory that James and myself always wanted to get back together and do something, but we never had a vehicle, you know, to do it. And I sat down one day and started, a lot of my songs start with guitar riffs. I had a little guitar riff, kind of a blues riff I've had for a while. And I started writing, and I came out with a song called Mud Cat, which is a story about an old Delta blues player that used to play with Robert Johnson.
Oh, that's great.
And I got to thinking, and my mind started operating in that direction, and I kept coming up with these songs that all fell into the same vein. So we got together. We got James and myself and my bass player, Charlie Hayward, and we needed a good slide guitar player. And there's a guy who's played with the name of Tommy Crane, who was an incredible guitar player. He's got a little brother that is really a good slide player, so we went and got him, Billy Crane. And we went in, and it's just a kind of minimalist record. It's not got a lot of overdubs and smoke and mirrors and that sort of thing. Right. It's just straight ahead music. And all the songs that I wrote them in the key of E. So I decided to call the album The Boll Weevils, Songs in the Key of E. So that's what that's about.
I love the first name of the first track on the album, Geechee Geechee Ya Ya Blues.
Yeah, Geechee, yeah, Blues, yeah.
I love it. You know, but Charlie, and you know, you can just tell, not only do you still have just passion for music, man, you're just still having so much fun at it.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Believe me, I would not. I'd go sit on my hill in Tennessee and, you know, just, I don't know what I'd do, but I have definitely not gotten to the point where I am even thinking seriously about any retiring is not in my vocabulary.
So you're not going to do some kind of a farewell tour?
No. If I ever do a farewell tour, you can bet that's it. Most farewell tours are just, you know, hey, we're going to say farewell for a little while and we'll be back again.
Right. I mean, it's always been a joke like, okay, this is my first farewell tour.
Well, if I ever do it, it's going to be for real. It'll be for
well,
real.
Listen,
and I don't know if I could. It'd be such an emotional thing for me. I don't know if I could stand on stage and tell people I wouldn't be seeing them again next year, you know.
Charlie Daniels is nothing but real. And Charlie, you know, we've talked about on this show, we've talked about your experience and your service to the troops, certainly. And I mean, I don't know how many tours you've done, how many USO appearances, but every time you turn around, Charlie Daniels is out doing something for the men and women in uniform.
Well, we can never do enough for them. Yeah. I go back. I remember the day Pearl Harbor was bombed. I remember that's one of my first vivid memories.
Wow.
When Pearl Harbor was bombed. I was at my granddad. I remember where I was. I remember the circumstances, and it was. I grew up during that war. My time that I was about 5 years old to the time I was about 10 was during the Second World War. And we lived it. And my town I was from, Wilmington, North Carolina, was a seaport, or is, I should say, a seaport town where we had cargo ships going out, had a place that built Liberty ships, and we had ships sunk just off our coast by German U-boats. It was said, of course I never saw it, but it was said sometimes it was so close you could see the fires of battle from our beaches. So we took the war very seriously. We didn't know if the Nazis were going to try to bring it on shore or what. And I grew up, and I say this on stage every night, that only two things protect America. It's the grace of Almighty God, the United States military.
Yep.
And I honestly feel that way about it. We can never do enough for our veterans, and to see the way that some of them have been treated by the same people who sent them off to war, that they kind of bring them back and forget about them, is just maddening to me. And, you know, I just feel that whatever they need, they should have, and that's why I'm so involved in trying to do something for our veterans.
Well, you do something, don't you honor the veterans at every one of your shows?
Yeah, we do. We do that, and we also have an organization. It's called the Journey Home Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Where we try to help our veterans transition from service life back into civilian life.
Yeah, it's
been a gratifying thing to do. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
In fact, that's your manager, right? Isn't that your manager that
him and
runs
myself?
that?
Yeah, we started together.
Yeah, we had him on the show, and he was telling us all about that. It sounds like an incredible organization.
We're not as big as some of the organizations are, but we believe when we get in money, we believe in put it on out there, get it gone, So, and we try to help out as much as we can, and the need is so great, and of course you have to kind of pick and choose what you can do and what you can't do, but we do what we can, and it's very gratifying, to say the least. That's
fantastic. And you talk about Wilmington. I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee. And same kind of deal. Yeah. I mean, same kind of, sentiment and belief that America's great, and that it's always going to be upheld by the people who serve in the military. And I don't know where along the way we lost that or forgot that or what it is, but it's amazing. I was talking to somebody from a Vietnam vet the other day, and he said, the difference is we were drafted. He said, the men and women that are in the military, they raised their hand and they went in. And
they did.
I mean, that's pretty strong stuff.
It is. And it's, I have had the honor of being among our men and women in uniform in some pretty desolate parts of the world. I just, to go out and see what they do and the places they serve in, the places they go, have to spend a year of their lives away from their families. You know, some people seem to think that people in the military have an extra gene or something that kind of prevents them from having the same problems that we do with being away from our families and stuff. I've seen people cry. I had a guy in Iraq, and he showed me pictures of a little girl. I mean, it just breaks your heart, you know. Is that he looks at this picture and he can't put her in bed at night. He can't hug her. He can't do anything. And he's over living in danger every day, and it hurts him just as bad as it does anybody else. But the extra gene, if he's got an extra gene, it's called patriotism. Yeah. He's there doing something that somebody's got to do. And he said, like you said, the guy said, he raised his hand and said, I'll go. Send me.
Yeah. I mean, less than 1% of the population. You know, that's who the 99% should support. Charlie, I want to ask you also, we're talking to Charlie Daniels here in the National Defense. You've been, I mean, you recorded with everybody. You've played with everybody. Anybody that's just comes to mind that you said, I will never have that opportunity again, or that was the best time of my life?
Well, I put it off too long. I probably could have worked something out, but I always want to do something with B.B. King.
Oh, man.
And I wish I should have tried to put it in motion. And, you know, I was around him some from time to time, and we always think, well, you got plenty of time, you know, let's see what we come up with. And it never presented itself, and now he's gone, and I'll never have the opportunity to do it. And I so much wish I could have. This man is the greatest, in my book, the greatest blues player and singer. He interpreted the blues like nobody else ever has, or I think ever will. There are a lot of good ones out there. There's only one B.B. King.
Yep.
And you know, I wish I hadn't had the opportunity to do that. But
hey, I can't wait to hear the Charlie Daniels blues.
Well, it's going to be coming at you shortly.
That's going to be great, man. It's called Boll Weevils, Songs in the Key of E. And did you make sure that James Stroud and everybody, did they all know something in the key of E, or did you have to teach them?
Well, James plays drums, so you ain't got to worry about him.
Right.
But that's what that is, the old basic blues key, basically. You know, it's a lot of the open string type stuff. Yeah. Stevie Ray played in this open string.
I was just going to say, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
he was one of the best, you know, he did. But Stevie, he was not actually playing in the key because Stevie tuned his guitar a half step higher than, or actually a half step lower.
Oh, really?
And, he had his band played all the time, and they had to play, if he was in G, they had to play in A flat. or vice versa. Maybe it was F sharp. But it was one of those. Yeah, he tuned his guitar different, but he did it for sound. He did it because he could get a better sound out of it. He was such an incredible guitar player. He did it like. There's another one. Well, I don't know if we'll ever have another Stevie Ray Vaughan or not. I seriously doubt it.
You know, you think about people who do things their own way. Have you ever done anything anybody else's way but your own? I mean, you seem to have that focus of everything that you do is I'm doing it this way, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, well, I have. There was a time when I did have an experience of actually giving into a record company doing something that I didn't want to do. I went in the studio without my band.
Really?
Which was a big mistake. Yeah, I thought it was like I was kind of under pressure to do it. There were a lot of reasons. It was not something I wanted to do, but that's something I was pressured into, and I decided right then and there, this is the last time this will ever happen. Not that there was anything wrong with the musicians, because I had some of the finest session players in Nashville with me, but there's something about a band. There's a personality about a band that studio musicians, unless they play together a lot, you know, some of them do, they just don't have. They're perfect. They're more perfect than a band. But there's just something about 5 or 6 personalities coming together on a daily basis and playing and putting miles in together and living together and writing together and playing together and talking together that you can't match with, you know, people who go in from session to session and put on different sessions. Like I said, they do it more perfectly, but I've never had a hit record that anybody from my band played on. It's always been
you can't have Charlie Daniels at CDB.
Well, you will never again. This has been many years ago.
Charlie, listen, thank you so much for the time, and it's so great to talk to you, and such a fan. I just thank you for your time, and thank you for what you do for the troops.
Well, can I say something to the troops?
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all, I just want you to know, I travel this country coast to coast and border to border every year, and I see a lot of people, and I speak to a lot of people, and talk to a lot of people, and I carry on conversations. I want to tell you, whatever you read in the press, there is so much support and love and care across this country for the United States military.
Amen.
Believe me, take it from somebody who knows, and please include me in that bunch. Sincerely love you guys. I pray for you, and I so much appreciate what you've done for us and what you continue to do for us. And know that we're here for you. We're here for you.
That's great. Charlie, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the time, and good luck with the new album.
Thank you very much. Hope you like it.
I'm sure we'll love it. We'll be right back.
You can listen to Geechee Geechee Ya Ya Blues.
I know. Hey, listen, I was just happy I could pronounce it. I can't wait to hear it.
You got it right. You're probably one of the few people who get it right.
Well,
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you, Charlie. We'll be right back with the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
How do you thank the millions of men and women who have fought so bravely for our country over the years? At the Home Depot, we think it takes more than words. We believe the best way to show gratitude is to do gratitude. The Home Depot Foundation is committed to veterans and their families, improving their homes and their lives. Since 2011, we've invested $160 million to veteran causes and impacted over 26,000 veteran homes. By 2020, we'll grow that investment to $250 million. From simple wheelchair ramps to complete home makeovers, transitional housing, community support, we consider it a duty and a privilege to serve senior, wounded, and homeless veterans the best ways we know how. After all they've given us, it's the least we could do. $250 million by 2020. Doing more for veterans. Doing gratitude. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
Did you know WD-40 Company offers more than just a blue and yellow can? There's a line of high-performance WD-40 brand products developed for professionals that include degreasers, penetrants, and greases. The WD-40 Specialist Greases line includes a multi-purpose grease, a high-temperature grease, an extreme pressure grease, and a marine-grade water-resistant grease. The products are interchangeable with each other so they won't cause cross-contamination issues that compromise performance and effectiveness. Pick up a can at Home Depot and learn more about these and other WD-40 brand products at WD-40Specialist.com.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're standing guard with the truth. The National Defense.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and it's time for Eye Insights with VSP Vision. And they have been saving the big guns for right now. We're going to talk to Dr. Josh Baker, and he's the dean of the Arizona College of Optometry, but was also served as the chief of optometry service at the U.S. Army Health Clinic in Stuttgart. He's an Army major, received a Bronze Star. Major, what an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you've got the answers to all of these questions because every time we have somebody on from VSP, I know we all just learn so much. So let's talk about red eyes, and not just my red eyes, but what are red eyes?
So, a red eye it's really just an indication that your eyes are unhappy about something. It's generally an indication that your eyes are irritated or inflamed. The vasculature, the vessels of your eye may appear more prominent, or you may just have some generalized overall redness of the eye. Oftentimes you'll hear people say things like bloodshot eyes to describe those red eyes, but it can also be very, very subtle. A patient may not actually realize that they have some mild redness, but when we take a look at them behind the microscope or the slit lamp, we can see that there's some mild what we call it injection or redness of the vasculature.
So whiskey has nothing to do with the red eye?
Oh, I think it probably could contribute from time to time.
What are some common causes of red eye?
Probably the most common cause is allergic conjunctivitis, which is just allergies that affect the eyes. This can be your typical seasonal type allergies, or it can be something associated with a specific substance, say like pet dander or cats or something like that. Dry eye is another very common cause of redness or irritation. As your eye becomes dry, it becomes irritated and inflamed. Contact lens associated red eye is very prevalent, and this is more often associated with somebody who maybe is wearing their contact lenses too long, or is maybe not doing a good job of cleaning them, or worst case scenario is, it's Halloween now, so maybe now's a good time to talk about it, but wearing lenses they were never fit for. A lot of these cosmetic lenses they can buy through websites or whatever, they actually don't fit their eye properly, and that can be really dangerous for them and lead to not just, red eyes, but some significant and sight-threatening complications.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially around Halloween. Well, Dr. Baker, this is pretty exciting stuff that you guys have coming forward. Can you talk about the exciting news from VSP?
VSP is currently a vision carrier for hundreds of thousands through the Federal Dental and Vision Insurance Program, more commonly known as FedVip. And now great news for military families and retirees. You'll be able to enroll in vision care coverage during federal benefit open season, which is November 12th through December 10th. Once enrolled, coverage will begin in January 2019. To do this, just visit choosevsp.com/TRICARE for more information.
So all they have to do is visit choosevsp.com/TRICARE for more information, correct?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Baker, thank you so much. We'll be back here next week with a brand new edition of Eye Insights with VSP Vision right here.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
This portion of the National Defense is brought to you by Gorilla Glue, the makers of Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape has a tough, reinforced backing and is made with double-thick adhesive that grips to smooth, rough, and uneven surfaces. With a weather-resistant shell, Gorilla Tape can be used both indoors and out, which is perfect for applications in the field, including duck blinds, tree stands, and tent repairs. Gorilla Tape and Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Welcome to F-150 Radio, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Dean, go.
I'm all about lowering the bar, like I only brush my teeth on Monday.
The new Ford F-150 lineup raises the bar by being number one in towing, payload, and torque. It can make you more capable.
Capable schmapable.
The new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
When properly configured, classes full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVW are based on Ford segmentation.
The holidays are coming, and the tools and the savings that come with them are already here at the Home Depot. If someone on your Christmas list would like some new tools from top brands like Milwaukee, Ryobi, DeWalt, Makita, Husky, or Rigid, make their wish come true and do it with savings that stretch your holiday shopping even further. This is how you gear up for Christmas. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
We're standing guard with the truth. The National Defense.